What's going on, guys? It's Adam P, and welcome back to more Newcastle United transfer news. Things are looking good today. Finally, it looks like Newcastle United is going to sign a striker this window. It finally looks like a deal will happen for Newcastle. One striker through the door. Still needs to be two, though. If Newcastle wants to actually sell Alexander Isak to Liverpool now, this week, has to be two through the door first. One looks like it's going to happen. What about that second one? That's going to be the real question. That's going to be the real thing that is going to take away all the background noise from Newcastle United, but also perhaps not make the club in the best light because you've kept the hold of such a boisterous and hostile situation going on in the background, and you kind of let him go last minute. Still doesn't seem feasible unless two strikers are in there, and I fully stand by that to any Liverpool fan watching. Carabao Cup draw tonight, though. I completely forgot we are in a cup draw tonight. There's been so much going on. Champions League draws coming up. Transfer activities coming up. I've completely forgot we are in the League Cup tonight. So, yes, third round draw will be on the channel in a live stream. So, there'll be two uploads today in terms of videos like this. It'll then be a live stream from probably 8 p.m. onwards. I don't tend to live stream, to be honest. So, for you guys, I'm on a lot earlier. Chance for you to come and ask me questions, come and stream and say hello and be able to hear and talk to me live. So if you want to do that, make sure to do that. And in terms of the cup draw, we can't get a good team tonight. We can't get any European teams. We can't get Liverpool. We can't get City. We can't get Arsenal. We can't get any of them. So I'm buzzing in that respect. There's a new BS rule in the third round now that basically gets all the European teams a free pass. You can't get anyone that's in the same competition as you. So we are at worst getting Manchester United. And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind Manchester United at all. So that's fine. We're fine. And finally, if you guys are new around here, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, to go and do that, because there's a lot of videos coming out and you don't want to miss out on any of it, especially a potential medical vlog, maybe as early as tomorrow on the channel. And as for who that medical is going to be for, Strand Larsen, 2 bids so far. First bid, £50 million. That was on the day of the Liverpool game, so a day and a half ago now. Yesterday, £55 million bid in the evening time. Also rejected second bid. Expected third bid. 50 was said at the time from Wolves. We aren't selling. The fact that Newcastle came back in after that message with a second bid tells me Newcastle is fully aware that he is for sale, and he tells me straight away that Newcastle United is not going to be playing with Wolves. Gives me the indication that Wolves has perhaps played a bluff in Newcastle, saying that, well, Larsen, he's not for sale this summer at all, just to try and put Newcastle off. It hasn't put Newcastle off. 2 bids in there now, and it's been stated by the player that while Newcastle is not a move he has to make, a move that he does want to make, Wolves is not agitated to sell him, but the player wants to go to Newcastle. That is a confirmation now from Owenstein that Larsen wants to move. Wissa also wants to move, so that means there's 2 strikers in the market now that are both available to buy. Wissa, of course, for a ridiculous £60 million for his age. Larsen costs the same amount of money, but Larsen a much better deal for Newcastle, in my opinion. Far better than Wissa, far better in terms of just the value and the age of the player. Young, up and coming, has double figures in back-to-back seasons at different football clubs. I've seen people be a bit put off by Larsen. He's even scored 2 goals last night against West Ham. He scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. That's 1 Wolves the game. And this is the player we know can score double figures in the Premier League with, all due respect to Wolves, not the best attacking team out there. I think they're an all-right side, but certainly a Newcastle team with real good players around me, especially the performance you've seen from Newcastle this season. Larsen scoring goals in that team. There is no way Strand Larsen is not putting the ball in the back in there with how good Newcastle's been in those opening 2 games. You put Larsen up front against Liverpool a couple of days ago, he would have scored. I don't bank on it not happening for 1 second. He would have banged at least one in there. He's a good player, a lot of potential, and he's already someone that's a proven goal scorer, and that's exactly what we need, a proven goal scorer. So I'm happy with this deal. Certainly, in my opinion, probably the best he can do now. I think Larsen and Wissa, yes, okay, none of them are going to replace Isak, and there never is an Alexander Isak replacement, because no one realistically is replacing Isak this window for Newcastle. But I think Wissa and Larsen, you get these two out of this situation. I actually think it's a good situation to be in. I think it's 2 signings there Both are desperate to play for Newcastle. Both are capable of scoring a good amount of goals in the Premier League. And if you actually put both players side by side, Larsen 14 goals, Wissa 19 goals last season, both of those players have actually got more goal contributions than Alexander Isak. So while both players are not as good as Isak, their contributions last season's actually amounted to what Isak was done and more. So he's actually done more than what Isak did last season. So when you look at it that way, I still think it's the best you can do. And I've got a proposal. I've got a proposal now to everyone watching this video. I've got a proposal to Liverpool fans, Brentford fans, Wolves fans, and of course us. I've got a solution that works for everyone, at least in the best interest of everyone, because I don't think anything's ever perfect. Larsen comes in now. Newcastle signs Larsen, £60 million. Wolves have just spent £23 million in him. That is an insane profit on a player. And I know Wolves deep down will want to keep a hold of the player. But listen, you've spent £23 million in him. You're getting 60 for him. 60 is a real good profit. You guys can use that. Spend a good amount of money, bring some better players in, and just help your own club out. That's going to help Wolves. They've got good money from Cunha, and they're going to get good money from Larsen. So for them, they get good money. They can kick on and hopefully survive in their point of view. As for what happens next, hear me out. No Wissa, no Isak in this window. Both stay at their clubs. Isak is now a designated number 2 at Newcastle. He'll play the Carabao Cup games. He'll play occasionally in the matches where Strand Larsen needs a rest. Larsen plays Champions League. Larsen plays the big Premier League games. Isak plays the lesser matches. For him, he's just having a kick about at this point. He's getting match fit. He's playing occasionally for Newcastle. This is a player who was playing on his way out. We know he's leaving. It will happen in January. And the reason why I say January is because Wissa will likely leave Brentford in January to come to Newcastle. He has a £60 million price tag now. That is dropping in January. So although Newcastle may lose money in Isak, and let's say Liverpool were prepared to put £130 million down now, and all of a sudden in January that's dropped to 110. That drop still is the exact same for Newcastle, because Wissa's 60 now. You can get him for 40 or maybe even less in January. So the drop for me is worth it. Isak being in the rounded team will be able to help Larsen develop. Although that guy behind the scenes is a nightmare, Larsen will be able to develop at least with a bit of pressure taken off him. Because if you sign Larsen now and Isak goes, he's got so much pressure because there's no one behind him that's coming in. I know Osula is a player that's available there, but come on, we all know deep down Osula is not ready to play week in, week out, starting for Newcastle United. Yeah, I hope he does one day. But until January, Isak's is in and out, in and out, in and out. Plays some games, not all of them. We know this player doesn't want to be. Yeah, don't give him all the games. Just let him play some of the games. Let him play our easier games, and just let him make sure, in his point of view, that he just contributes a little bit. He stays match fit. He doesn't play every game, so in his point of view, he doesn't likely get injured. So for the player, he may actually be able to come on and just properly kick it on and actually be able to play for Newcastle. In January, Isak can go to Liverpool. Wissa comes to Newcastle. Brentford then, currently now, they keep a hold of their player. Potentially in the next 3 months, they get enough points to help him for the second half of this season, which will allow Wissa to go. They'll get good money for him before that 6-month period is up. Afterwards, Wissa can then kick on at Newcastle. Brentford can then spend the Wissa money elsewhere. Liverpool don't need Isak now. Listen, Liverpool fans, can he survive 3 months for Alexander Isak? Yes, he can. We all know you can, so don't pretend for a second that this guy is going to make or break this season. Liverpool will be fine for 3 months. Come back in January. Isak can go, Wissa can come in. I think that's the best solution now. Hear me out. That's what I personally feel like Newcastle should be doing. If we sell Isak now, and then again, as I mentioned in so many videos already, it does make Newcastle look a bit stupid. We've kept a hold of this guy all summer long. It's already cost us matches this season, so why then would you just let him go last minute and then just not sign a second striker? We've said all summer long, 2 strikers need to come in, or £150 million for Isak. If both of those don't happen, Newcastle looks stupid, because we just said all summer long these need to happen, and we potentially sort of player when none of those have happened. So when I look at the situation now, that's what I honestly think Newcastle should do. But I think Wissa and Larsen are exactly the players Newcastle want. But I just don't think Wissa happens this summer, and that's why I've even made that proposal in the first place. I don't think we sign Johan Wissa this summer, because I just don't understand. Unless Brentford gets that striker in, they're not going to drop the valuation. We aren't going to spend £60 million on him. And I don't want to lose out on Wissa either, because I think it's a player that really wants to be here and a player who's doing extremely well for himself at Brentford last season. So I also don't want us to miss out on signing him. Speaking of Isak, he's got a set on him, by the way. He actually was at the game. I can't believe we're saying this. And Newcastle's done well at them. Keep it hush hush, but it has now been reported all over social media that Isak actually was in a box with his family at St James's Park against Liverpool. So that means he saw in person our team graft their arses off on the pitch without a striker, a team that was clearly desperate for a striker. And he sat there scouting the team he wants to play for. He sat there eating the popcorn, drinking the drinks, and just enjoying the caviar as he watches the team he wants to play for snatch a 101st minute winner of a 16-year-old against Newcastle. And Isak's just sitting there with his family, eating caviar. He's reading the books and he's just chilling in the box. And we're busting our asses off for over 100 minutes, sweating, bleeding, injuries all over the place, and playing with 10 men because of Gordon's red card. And you got a guy that's not even breaking a sweat, sitting and just watching the game amongst the crowd. Crazy. That is crazy, by the way. I cannot believe this guy had the nerve and had the balls to go with his family to the game at St James's Park. I mean, who do you think you are? I mean, honestly, who do you think you are? You are contracted to Newcastle United. Your job is to play and train with his football club. He's refusing to do both of those. And then even has a pair of balls big enough to actually just go, well, I'm not going to play. But you know what? I'm going to watch the game. I'm just going to go and watch the game and just see how Liverpool get on. I hope Liverpool wins this match. Come on, Liverpool. That's what he's thinking. He wants Liverpool to win the game. It's astonishing. It is truly astonishing. And I just can't understand why Newcastle will let him go this week. I honestly can't. You cannot let a player take the mick like this. You cannot let him do this. You can't let him just continue to just rinse Newcastle week in and week out. I mean, this guy's almost having a laugh at this point. He's honestly just there having a field day and enjoying himself. We can't allow this behaviour. We can't allow Isak to just walk all over Newcastle. We have to show authority. And that's why, as I mentioned in the proposal before, how can he let him leave this week? Honestly, how can he let him do it? We're only saying potentially one striker. How can you just let him walk out after everything that's been on, everything that's been going on? Like, how can you just let him walk out after all this? I still stand so strongly on it because you just can't allow any player to have this kind of behaviour. What does that tell the dressing room if he just goes after, I mean, literally watching the game in his box? Like, what does that tell everyone if he can just go and turn up the matches, not play, and watch the bloody thing, and then just leave the giant Liverpool anyway? All players are going to want to do if they ever want to leave Newcastle. We just can't allow this precedent. We have to be strong. We have to be firm now. And Isak staying until January at least gives off the impression that Newcastle has punished the player. It gives off the impression that Newcastle has turned down all demands. And while he still gets his dream move and he still moves to Liverpool, it at least makes Newcastle look strong enough where they've been able to hold off a potential Premier League record-breaking sale this summer. And I feel like Newcastle, although that money is huge for us, we're still getting a good amount of money in January, and I fully stand by it. And finally, coming from the Wolves manager yesterday, he has directly spoken about the incoming transfer links for Larsen. And knowing very well, he will never force a move. He wants to play every time. Guess who he's directing that towards? I mean, honestly, we're trying to sign a player here. Even the opposition manager is digging Isak. Even he's taking pop shots at Isak. So we look at a player here like Larsen. Manager enticing Newcastle. You talk about a player that doesn't want to play for you guys. This guy's never going to force a move. You know, if you want to put some money down, this is a player that's not going to force a move for you. And I look at Larsen. I like the sign. I honestly do. I'm happy with Larsen coming in. I'll be buzzing with him coming in. I can't wait to see what he would do for Newcastle. I guess in the grand scheme of things, I've got a couple of problems now. Larsen, for me, was a player we could have signed 2 weeks ago. I think £60 million, you're talking a couple of weeks ago. He wouldn't have been cup tied, by the way. He is now cup tied in the Carabao Cup, which means, because he's played yesterday against West Ham, he's not allowed to play for Newcastle if he was to sign for us in the League Cup. So I mentioned Isak before. That's what he's there to do. He needs to play those League Cup games for us and make sure we've got at least a striker that can play them games. So straight away, already won competition this season. Newcastle's knackered him because we haven't got a striker for the League Cup. That's a problem with Larsen. And as I just said, 2 weeks ago, there was nothing to stop Newcastle putting £60 million down in signing this guy, which makes me assuming, it tells me straight away that we perhaps didn't want him, or maybe perhaps he was far down the list and Newcastle's been kind of looking around, trying to get different players in. And then we're swooped around for Larsen. So we're spending £60 million in a guy that we basically aren't fully keen on. A player that Newcastle wasn't convinced enough to sign at the start of the window. This is one we've actually came to before match week 3. We tried to get Wissa before this guy. Try to get Sesko, we try to get João Pedro, we try to get Liam Delap, we try to get Bruno, we try to get Ekitike, we try to get all these players before Larsen. So he must be far down the list. He's a good player, be a fantastic player for Newcastle, but we know is not number 1 in our transfer list. We know this is a player for Eddie Howe that is at least, you're talking 7, 8, 9, 10 players down the list. So a player that is quite far down, and he's got a big point to prove. And at £60 million, that is a massive point to prove. That's the same money you spent in Isak. But has the potential and the capabilities already been proven in the Premier League. And just kicking on and scoring goals from minute 1 for Newcastle. Someone that doesn't need time to develop, someone that doesn't need time to get match fit. He's already match fit. He can just come in and play for us. I do like him. I think currently now he's the best we can do. I think if you sign him now, I'll be happy. One more striker needs to be Wissa, but I just don't see it happening this summer. So after Larsen, I don't feasibly see who Newcastle could sign. So we look at the players we can bring in now. Problems at the back, perhaps problems in terms of the backroom staff, because why is this not a player that's already in? If this is the guy we wanted, why is it not happening now? So you kind of wasted 2 games. You could have potentially got all 6 points if Larsen was playing at Villa Park, if Larsen was playing against Liverpool. So you've had a recruitment structure where you've recruited a player that we're now going to try and sign, but recruited him a bit too late because we would have been here by now if we wanted to sign him earlier. So yeah, I guess my annoyance is why he's not already in. If this is the one we want, why is he not here for match week 1? I know Newcastle's clearly trying to bring our players in, but I just don't get why you wouldn't bring him in for Villa Park if this is the guy we're so fixated on now. But that's about my only complaint about it. I think he's a good player. He'll do a lot for Newcastle. Expected 3rd bid today, so there'll be a video out on the channel of that 3rd bid because I think 60 million does do it. I think Wolves will sell for 60. So we'll see later on the day if that prediction is correct. But take care. Let me know your opinions down below. Does my proposal work for you? Do you feel like my proposal would actually be realistic, and do you think it will be fair on everyone involved? Take care, and we will see you all in the next one.